So wonderful children, Advaita Acharya is getting one by one. So another name of Advaita Acharya is Veda Panchanan. So he was teaching the philosophy of Vedas to his students. So that was his like Patan, Yajan, Yajan. We see what the six activities of a Brahmana. So Advaita Acharya was teaching Vedas, the philosophy of Vedas, to his students. At that time, two boys came. Two boys. Who were they? Gauranga and Gadadhar. They came to his place to study. Then he asked, "What have you all been doing all this time?" So then Gadadhar, because they were like now that Gauranga was Gaur Gadadhar were around same age. So Gauranga was 6 years older than the first child, Achyutananda of Advaita Acharya. So in this way, we can approximately gauge the age of Gauranga at that time. 6 plus 8, around 13, 14, like that. So Gadadhar was saying, "Oh, I will explain what has done. Gauranga, he studied from the very beginning. He completed studying grammar from Gangadas Pandit in 2 years. So that time he was 5 years, right? Huh. So then after that he studied literally embellishments, and then for the next 2 years, so 5 plus 2, 7 plus 2, 9. Okay. And then he went to Sri Vishnu Mishra to study the astrology and Smriti for another 2 years, so 9 plus 2, 11. Then he went to Sudarshan Pandit and he studied the six branches of philosophy, that also for 2 years. So 11 plus 2, 13. So the following 2 years he studied logic under Vasudev Sarvabhauma. Oh, so that is 13 plus 2, 15. So he was 15 years old. So now he has come to study the Vedas under you. So this is the introduction Gadadhar Pandit is given about Lord Chaitanya's studies. So wonderful. So thereafter, then Advaita Charya he began to very carefully teach Vedas to Gauranga. And Gauranga very diligently, like a student, he was nicely studying. Uh, So they were staying in their house. So one day, what happened? Krishna Mishra, he comes home and he was very hungry. He wanted to eat something, but there was nothing he could find. Then he saw that there were some very beautiful golden champa bananas. They were set aside in one place. Actually, Mother Sita, she wanted to give these especially fragrant bananas to Gauranga after his studies. So she had kept it aside. But Krishna Mishra is the second son of Advaita Acharya. So he said, uh, he chanted, he said that I'm hungry, I want to eat, but I also want to offer these bananas to Gauranga. So he chanted Om Gauraya Namaha, and then he offered it in his mind to Gauranga, and then he ate those bananas. Mother Sita, when she came and she saw, oh my God, where are the bananas I kept for Gauranga? Now what will I give him? And I really had wished that I wanted to offer them to him. So she then asked, who is the one who ate the bananas? So Krishna Vishnu said, I'm the one. I am the one who ate the bananas, but I offered it to Gauranga. Then Advaita Acharya asked, which mantra did you chant? So he said, I chanted Om Gauraya Namaha. So Advaita Acharya was very, very happy. He was very happy. He said, okay. And that time, Gauranga comes there. And then everybody's, Mother Sita says, let's all take lunch. So Gauranga says, I don't want to eat lunch. I'm very full because somebody offered me bananas when I was resting. Somebody fed me with bananas. and he was burping, and everyone could smell the fragrance of champa bananas. So immediately, Advaita Acharya was so happy. He was dancing. He was saying, "Wow, my son has really a great personality that he could offer bananas to Gauranga just within his mind." So within 1 year, Gauranga actually he completed his studies of the Vedas and Bhagavatam. And seeing this, the scholars all were wonderstruck. Wow, all the Vedas and Bhagavatam within 1 year. Then they were saying Gauranga really has divine qualities. So then Advaita, he said to Advaita Prabhu that I now wish to leave. I wish to go back to my house. Advaita Prabhu said, if you leave, it will break my heart. But you are independent. You can appear, disappear as you desire, like that. And then saying this, Advaita Acharya was drowned in an ocean of love, and he was trying to control his emotions. And then he told everyone that Nimai, he's most experienced in all the scriptures. So therefore, I want to give him a title. So, and he gives him the title Vidya Sagar, Ocean of Mercy. So everybody is on hearing this says, Jai, Jai. One student he says, Vidyasagar, come on, distribute sweets and beetle to everybody. So that was the way they used to do it. So that was done. He was distributing sweets and all to everybody, and went back, he went back to Mayapur, and Mother Sachi was so happy to see him. Within 1 year, she was just somehow she maintained her life without seeing Gauranga. So then she was so happy to get her son back. Gradually, every 4 years like that, Mother Sita gave birth to three more sons, Jagadish, Balaram, and Swarup. These are three more sons. Not much is mentioned about these three sons because they were not as devoted as to Lord Krishna as the previous three sons were. So then, one day, Advaita Acharya he was considering how Krishna has appeared in Navadvip to preach devotional service. So he was thinking, what I will do is I will purposely preach speculative knowledge, okay, and say that that is superior to devotional service. I will see how Gauranga, the Supreme Lord Krishna, how he reacts to this. He was thinking in this mysterious way, and um, Advaita Acharya, he began to cleverly preach the philosophy of Yoga Vashishta to all his students. So this is Mayavadi philosophy actually. So this speculative knowledge, he was telling his students, is superior to devotional service. There is nothing superior to speculative knowledge like that. And the students were becoming so unhappy to hear this. What has happened to Prabhu? Advaita Prabhu, what has happened to him? Why is he talking like this? How has he developed such contradictory conclusions? And previously he said that speculative knowledge is without a doubt the servant of Bhakti Maharani, like that. And now he's saying what? That this is more greater than devotional service. What has happened? Knowledge without devotion cannot take one to supreme destination, like that he was telling before. And he was saying that just like when we thrash the empty husk, there is no grain coming out of it, only labor. So he was telling like this to us. And now he says, what is the use of devotional service? Scriptures state that one attains liberation by knowing Brahman. What has happened to our Prabhu? He was thinking like that. Meanwhile, the news spread, and in Navadvip, Vishwambara, Lord Gauranga, he could understand the mind of Advaita Acharya. So he said, come on, Nityananda, we have to go quickly to Shantipur. Uh, then on the way, of course, we know the pastimes, how they showed mercy to a drunkard sannyasi. So then, when they came to Advaita Acharya's house, Advaita Acharya understood, oh, the Lord has come. So he became more determined and he started explaining the speculative knowledge in very sweet language. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, they arrived at Lord Advaita Acharya's residence, and then they heard, what is this? He's talking refutations. He heard of refutations of devotional service were coming from his lips. What is this? It's like poison is coming from the milk ocean, like that. It was. Then then Gauranga, he started shaking in anger. He took taking the role of a teacher. He's loudly addressed Advaita Acharya. What has happened to your intelligence? You have given up the touchstone and to respect a piece of glass. Then people say you are inducing them to take up to devotional service, but I am seeing now that you have become like a thorn in the side of devotional service. I will kill you and then establish devotional service. Who in the three worlds has the power to stop me? Saying like this, in the mood of Narsimadev, Mahaprabhu threw Advaita Acharya from his seat on the ground, and then he started beating him. On seeing Gauranga's deep attachment to protect devotional service, the most fortunate Advaita Acharya was fainted in ecstasy. Actually, all the students were, they were scared. They didn't know what to do. They thought he has left his body or what. And Sita Maharani, Sita Devi, she was, she knew what was happening, but she was trying to stop Gauranga. He will kill him, and but if she was also crying out of love. After some time, Advaita Prabhu, he regained he came back to his external consciousness, and Gauranga said to him, "Oh Nara," he called him Nara. So, if you have such a desire in your mind, then why did you call me here? You want to explain all this bogus philosophy. Why did you call me here? The Vedas say that living entities are counted among the parts of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Brahman. But there is a great difference there, just as there is difference between yogurt and milk. So he said the living entities, they commit offense by consider themselves identical with the Supreme Lord. Although one may achieve liberation in this way, then yeah, liberation you can get, but it is temporary, and again one falls back into this material world. So like this, he told him. So Advaita Acharya, he was an incarnation of a devotee, right? He incarnated. This is called Bhaktavatar, incarnation of Krishna as a devotee. So when he saw Krishna, who has appeared as own devotee, that means the Lord Krishna appeared as the devotee of Krishna, and his two-armed form was covered with the luster of Radharani. You can see how he is seeing that in this picture. So he was holding a flute, and his head was decorated with peacock feathers. So like that, he could see the Lord actually. So Advaita Acharya, he knew the truth about Krishna, and when he saw this original form, again he fell unconscious in ecstasy. Then again, when he came to his senses, he said, "I have committed a great offense, but now I have received an order to distribute the devotional service. So now I'm going to do this." Saying this, Advaita Acharya actually had written two books on Sri Yoga Vasishta and Sri Bhagavad Gita. So he brought these two beautiful, wonderful commentaries which delineate everything on the path of devotional service. And he brought these two books and he showed these books to Gauranga. And Gauranga read them both and he became so saturated, happy with pure love. And he said, "Whoever has written this commentary on these books has nicely churned the transcendental ocean of bhakti." He said like that. He said that he's an incarnation of a devotee and he's as good as Krishna. I offer my millions of obeisances to his lotus feet. So he immediately changed he was offering his obeisances in his mind to Advaita Acharya. So Nityananda Prabhu also, he was saying, "Wow, this is so beautiful, this is so wonderful. This commentator is glorified throughout the world." So that's commentator is none other than Advaita Acharya. So that concludes this episode. It's a beautiful episode. So once what happened after offering arti to Krishna one day, Advaita Acharya, he was chanting loudly the holy names, And then one Vaishnava came and told Advaita Acharya some news from Mayapur. He said, the Vaishnava, he said, one Vaishnava came from Mayapur. He said, Nimai has left home. He went to Kantak Nagar. Kantak Nagar is actually Katwa. So he went to Kantak Nagar and he has shaved his head. Keshav Bharti has given him sannyas and he's given him the name Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And in lamentation, Mother Shachi has lost her external consciousness. She sometimes she's fainting, sometimes she's falling to the ground. Whether the praise is proper or not, she's not seeing. She just faints and falls, and she calls out Nimai's name and cries loudly. And her grief is like a thunderbolt that has breaks apart even stones. So much grief. She sometimes runs here and there like a mad woman. Sometimes she goes to the bank of Ganga to kill herself. And the condition of Vishnupriya cannot be described, because incessant flow of tears is coming from her eyes, is inundating the whole world. Looks like so many tears. Advaita Prabhu, when he heard this, he was stunned. For 3 hours, he began to cry. Began to cry. He was crying for 3 hours. Then, understanding what had happened, even Sita Devi started to cry loudly. And the associates of all the Advaitacharya and everybody, they became merged in the ocean of lamentation, cried and cried and cried. So after more than 3 hours, then Advaitacharya suddenly began laughing loudly. Nobody could understand what happened suddenly. He was crying all this 3 hours and then now he's laughing. Because the dawning of Gauranga's ecstatic love had arrived. So Advaitacharya, he said to his intimate devotees, he said, one may cross the great ocean after a long time, but one will never cross the ocean of Krishna's mercy. So we can cross the ocean after a long time, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. The ship will take us across the ocean, but we can never cross the ocean of Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy is unbounded. The ocean is just unbounded. There is no end. And Krishna manifests various pastimes. He manifests various pastimes for the deliverance of living entities. Sometimes he becomes sannyasi, sometimes he becomes grahastha, and he displays great humility to fulfill the desires of his devotees. So the devotees should not offend him. The devotees should give him all respects, because he is the supreme Lord. So therefore he has taken sannyas. So all the scriptures declare that Krishna is always controlled by his devotees, and this is substantiated by this pastime. So like that he told everybody, and he became overwhelmed like this, talking like this. He became overwhelmed with love, and he says, I can understand your confidential activities. You have taken sannyas in order to educate people, just as an actor and like takes up a role, and with different dresses he enchants the audience. So like that you have done that. Advaita Acharya was telling to to Lord Gauranga. So then he came back to his external consciousness and then began to perform loud Sankirtan. Then at that time, Acharya Ratna Mahashay came there. Acharya Ratna, I think, is Chandrasekhar Acharya. And he's seeing Advaita Prabhu. He was saying, please tell me what is the news from Nadia. So Acharya Ratna replied, see, Advaita Acharya, after taking sannyas, you know what? Nima is coming here. Huh? Nima is coming here. Where is he? So Acharya Ratna, see, he's on the other side of the Ganga. Take a boat, go there, bring him here. He has been fasting continuously for 4 days. He's in ecstasy, in love for Krishna. So hearing this, Advaita Acharya was so distressed. Oh God, fasting for 4 days. Quickly went, he took a boat, he went across Ganga. Upon seeing Advaita Acharya, Gauranga said, how surprising, Advaita Acharya, you have come to Vrindavan? Because you remember, after a sannyas, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. And Nityananda Prabhu and all, they tricked him to come to this side, So he was thinking he's still in Vrindavan. So Advaita Prabhu said, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. He said like that. And saying this, he brought Lord Chaitanya across Ganga to Shantipur. Then when Mother Sita saw Gauranga in a dress of sannyasi, she was started lamenting. It was beyond description. But then she controlled herself and she began cooking. She cooked rice, various vegetables, cakes, and all the preparations which Gauranga liked, she knows. So she cooked with great devotion. She cooked large quantities of so much nice, fragrant nectarian foods. And she decorated each preparation with Tulsi Manjari and offered it to Krishna. And then Gauranga and Nityananda were invited for prasadam, and nicely they were offered nice seats. Then, on Advaitacharya's request, Gornitai sat down to eat. And when Advaitacharya Prabhu stood up, he wanted to serve them. Then, on seeing this, Gauranga said, uh, it, he said in a very cryptic way. He said, Yajna or sacrifice can never be successful without the presence of Lord Shiva. He said, like, Advaita Prabhu smiled and he said, you are the origin of Shiva. So by your grace, all living entities can get auspiciousness. So please, you please uh, take your prasadam. Mahaprabhu said, oh, give up your pretension. I know who you are. Come on, I cannot eat without you. So Nityananda Prabhu was laughing loudly. He said, oh, kind hearted Gauranga, please listen to me. Don't pay much attention to this gluttonous Brahman. If he eats with four hands, he will be still unsatisfied. Sometimes he eats so voraciously like a fire, and no one else has such mystic potency like that. Nityananda Prabhu was joking. So hearing this, Advaitacharya was laughing loudly and he said in loving anger, he said to Nityananda, you enjoy in one place after another like a showman who displays different forms. You alone eat with unlimited mouths, that is Anantashesh. Who is able to satisfy your hunger? So Gauranga was smiling, listening to this nice talk between Nityananda and Advaita, who was revealing their truth about each other actually by just this dialogue. So taking the role of mediator now, because these two are fighting. So he said, "You two are comparable in your eating, so we can compare you two. You're great. Both of you are great in eating." So, in a mood of pure devotion, Advaita Prabhu said, you alone are immeasurable. We are comparable, but you are immeasurable in this world. Oh Lord, unlimited universes are balanced by you. He's telling to, now he became different and he's telling that I don't see any scale that can perform such feats. So, each one of them are talking about each other, the greatness of each other. So, revealing their identities. So thus, Mahaprabhu and the two Prabhus, they all were indirectly revealing the absolute truth. So meanwhile, in Navadvip, Shachimata heard that Gauranga has gone to Shantipur and all the devotees in Nadia, they met together and joyfully they went to Shantipur. Then when Lord Chaitanya saw his mother, he offered obeisances and he began to, and Shachi Mata began to cry and she said, Nimai, seeing you in this dress, I feel like my heart is pierced with sharp arrows. So she was crying and then gradually uh, the lamentation of Mother Shachi expanded and all the living entities, they all began to cry, floating in that current of her emotions. And then Mahaprabhu explained the purpose of his life to his mother. See, mother, this is the purpose of my life. And then she became free from all lamentation. She became very calm. Then she cooked very nice fried rice, varieties of vegetables, and Gauranga's favorite things, preparations. She cooked sweet rice, sweet meats, and then everybody enjoyed, along with Chaitanya, all the blissfully enjoyed all the wonderful feast she cooked. So next few days she was cooking. There was only festival in Advaita Acharya's house, and it was beyond description. So during the day, Mahaprabhu would give instructions how to chant the holy names. So during the day was katha class, and at night he would have kirtan, sankirtan. All the devotees would join, and they all became mad with ecstasy in love, and their tears inundated. Their tears were falling from their eyes, and the whole of Shantipur was becoming wet with their tears. Like that, the whole night they will be chanting in ecstasy. So one day, in a sweet voice, Gauranga said, "Please give me permission. I need to leave." The devotees were, oh man, like poison only had fallen in. They said, "Oh my goodness, we can't let you go now." So what can we say about Shachimata's lamentation? So even Agni, they said, even Agni would have burned to ashes. So that much was the heat of her lamentation. So Mother Sachi exclaimed, she was saying, "Oh, please, leaving me in lamentation, where will you go? Why don't you stay here and worship the Lord?" Then Mahaprabhu said, "Don't speak like this. You know that sannyasis cannot remain near his house, near his residence." So then Chachi Mother said, "Okay, Vrindavan is very far away." So she said, "You stay in Jagannath Puri. Okay, then I can get news about you." So then Gauranga accepted his mother's order. He said, "Okay, uh, I will stay in Jagannath Puri." And then the devotees all, they fell at his feet and said, "We don't know whether we'll see you again or not. Let us see you for the last time." Then they were just watching Lord Chaitanya's beautiful face. Then Lord Chaitanya felt compassion and he said, "Don't lament for me. Birth after birth, we will never be separated, even for a moment. So, just as we have held festivals together, the next two lives, we will again have festivals. I only have an empty body. You are my Panchapran. You are my five lives. So, leaving you where I can go. But now I must maintain religious principles of sannyas. So by traveling to holy places, so you should all daily meet together. You should all perform sankirtan. You should all preach religious principles. You should all serve the saintly persons. This way, you will enjoy pure love, bliss of pure love, and forget this distress of separation from me." So this is the instruction he gave them. So then he goes to Jagannath Puri. There's a lot to speak about how uh, Advaitacharya's eldest son goes and assists the Lord in Jagannath Puri. So very beautiful pastimes are there, but it is voluminous. It's so much we can't even dive into that. So on occasion of Jagannath Rath Yatra, Advaitacharya he would go to Jagannath Puri, and would go, many devotees would accompany him. So while Jagannath was mounting the when he mounted the ratha or the chariot, Gauranga, in the mood of the gopis, he would recite some verses like "Bahu kale tore kala laga paila antare rakhi mu bhari nahi chadiba." I'm seeing you after a long time. Now I'll keep you in my heart and I will not let you go. So Lord Chaitanya sang this song in the ecstasy of love of Godhead, and the two Prabhus, that is Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya, they broadcast the meaning of this song. So in this way, the Lord, he becomes absorbed in Kirtan, and Mahabhav awoke within him and he fell unconscious. So when this verse was recited again and again, then he, by Nityananda Prabhu, then he regained his consciousness and he embraced Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu held the two hands of the Lord and sweetly they danced around Advaita Acharya. And, and Advaita Acharya was saying, "It is very difficult to understand the drama between you two." Like that. Go Nita replied, "You are the director of the drama. Means you only are the one who called us down here." So they all embraced each other, and the three lords, they all embraced each other and they cried and they chanted the names of Hari. They all shouted, "Come on, everyone, let us chant the name of Hari and dance. And in this way, we will cross the ocean of material existence." So, like this, all the devotees they heard this and they also began dancing. So like this, and everybody was dancing, dancing, and dancing, and suddenly uh, Gopal, the third son of Advaita Acharya, he became unconscious, fell down, and no matter what, he couldn't be brought back to external consciousness. So Krishna, they thought that he has left his body. Krishna, what have you done? Like that, uh, Advaita Acharya was crying out loudly, Krishna, what have you done? My child. And in this way, Gauranga came there and then repeatedly, sir, wake up, Gopal, wake up. He was again and again telling him. Then, when he heard that the sound of the Lord, Gopal woke up and he said, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya. He said like that when he woke up. And then he loudly called out, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And all the devotees said, he is really an incarnation of a devotee, that is Ganesha. Then Gauranga, he affectionately embraced Gopal, very affectionately, and he was crying also. And Advaita Acharya also took Gopal in his arms, and they were dancing and Hari Hari chanting Nityananda Prabhu. He was lovingly brushing the dust off Gopal's body, and all the devotees were taking the dust and putting on their heads like this. So Gopal Das, his glory is also unlimited. Achyutananda, his glories are unlimited. Krishna Mishra, don't say, his glories are also unlimited. So it's very difficult to describe all the glories, so many glories of these wonderful children of uh, Lord Advaita Acharya. So we will take a break of 5 minutes. I will come. I will join back again.
Hare Krishna Mataji. That's fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hi,
Now
yes.
audible, ma'am.
Mataji, I think it's a break now, right?
Yes, yes. 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I was saying that isn't the time when Advaita Acharya was that preaching all that this thing Advaita the oneness Mayavad,
Yeah.
then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hits him with a broom and all, and he's running
Yeah,
behind him.
yeah.
Then,
That.
then
Yeah,
and then he is dancing in ecstasy that okay, now
yeah,
I
yeah.
prove to the world that you are the Lord and I am the
Yes.
that also same pastime, right?
Same pastimes. Because
Yes.
different people write in a different with how they see it.
Right.
This is
Yeah, this
this is by
different version
Ishan
I
Thakur.
heard, so that's name again.
Yeah. This is by Ishan Thakur, and what you are saying is from Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Chaitanya Charitamrita, yes.
Yeah.
And
So
then also when Advaita Acharya invite Balramji and Nityanand Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at home, then he feeds him that sannyasi. Then when they become sannyasi,
yes,
then Nityanand Prabhu throws a lot
yes,
of
right.
rice at him. Then again he
Yes.
becomes. That is
Correct.
also wonderful.
That is also the same pastime
Yes,
which
yes.
I just now spoke about the three
Yes,
lords.
yes, yes. So wonderful pastime.
Yeah.
And
It's beautifully described by Ishan Thakur in his book. In his book, this is Advaita Prakash. Very beautiful book. It a book is
Advaita Prakash.
Yeah,
Okay.
it a book is around only 87 pages or something like that. But it is a very beautiful book.
Okay.
It's available online also.
Okay. I will try to then read that. Wonderful.
I have downloaded it. If you want, I can share it in the group.
Yes. Please, Mother, please put it in the WhatsApp so we'll upload it
Yeah.
on the
Okay,
site.
okay. I'll put it. It's a very beautiful book because you have to read about Achyutananda's and Gopal's and their Krishna Mishra's pastimes. Oh, they are so wonderful. The pastimes of these three sons of Advaita Acharya. Especially Achyutananda had a long association with Lord Gauranga in Puri, Jagannath Puri. So it is very amazing
The
that
author of that book, Mataji?
Ishan Thakur. Ishan Thakur is the author. It's Bengali, been translated by Subhag Swami Maharaj.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, but very nicely done translation, and the book is small, but it's a very very enchanting read. You will be really very happy to read the book, Advaita Prakash. There are many other books also on Lord Chaitanya, but on Lord Advaita Acharya. Sharad Prabhu was telling about one book yesterday. Prema Vilas, is it, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, yes. Then there is one thing, the pastime of why Advaita Acharya he was teaching impersonalism.
Yes, yes,
I'll be covering that at the end.
yes.
What
Okay.
was the reason? He is the supreme Lord. He knows what it is. But why he was doing that? There
Yes,
is.
yes.
I'll give that at the end.
Okay.
To get special mercy of Lord Chaitanya through chastisement.
Yes, yes, yes.
It is very prima vilasa, right?
We can't hear you. What is it, Mataji?
Is it prema vilasa?
Ah, Prema Vilas. So we will continue now. Where I stop. So one day, Advaitacharya said to Sita Devi, day and night I'm feeling very distressed about not being able to entertain Gauranga Mahaprabhu in my house. I want to invite him. I want to. I all the time this sannyasi is always accompanying him everywhere. So I want to invite him. He just invite him alone, and I want to give him the foods which he loves to eat. And then if I invite him with all the sannyasis, he gives them all the food, and he doesn't eat much. So my desire is always frustrated. So Sita Devi was saying that this is also my heart's desire. If only we can get Gauranga to come alone, then we'll satisfy him with all his favorite foods. And that is my also long cherished desire. I don't know when it will be fulfilled. So, like that, they were thinking. And that time, what happened? They had invited Lord Chaitanya, and then one wonderful event took place. Then suddenly the daylight suddenly became covered by dark clouds, and like a huge strong wind was blowing, and shower of hail and storm and all was in the sky. And nobody could understand that this was due to the Lord Chaitanya's desire, because nobody could leave their house in such a storm. And that time Gauranga, he left his room, and to fulfill his devotee's desire, he came alone to their residence of Advaita Acharya. And they were floating in the waves of love. And then Sita Devi, she prepared so many nice nectarian food for him. And she served them. We can see in the picture, she's bringing so many nice foodstuffs, and only for Gauranga. And they could understand what had happened. So they offered him a nice sitting place, and then they said they wanted to wash his feet. He said, actually, they told Ishan Thakur, that time Ishan Thakur was there. So he said Ishan Thakur to wash his feet. Then Gauranga said, no, 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 you're a Brahmana. You're Brahmana. Brahmana is like a god himself. Ah, you cannot wash my feet. Oh, Ishan Thakur was so sad. He was like, I was waiting for this chance to do this seva, and I am. So he just broke his Brahmin thread. He said, I don't want to become a Brahmin anymore. I just want to wash your feet. So then after that, then Advaitacharya pacified him and said, "Okay, okay, you can. You, I order you to wash his feet," and like this, and then he was given. Advaitacharya gave him another sacred thread. He said, "You shouldn't do like this. You should wear your sacred thread." And then she said, "What is the use of?" He was saying, "No, no, I don't want. What is the use of this thread, which impedes my service to my Gauranga?" And he again started crying. And then he said, "Don't, please, don't deprive me of the Lord's service." And he said to Lord Advaitacharya told Gauranga, "So it's not proper to put your devotee in such distress." He said, then Mahaprabhu was silent. And Advaitacharya said to Ishan, "Okay, now you go and serve the Lord's feet. Go and serve him." So he was drowning in joy, and Ishan Thakur says, "How, by the mercy of Guru, I got an order to serve Gauranga." So, what cannot be achieved in millions of lifetimes of pious activities, we can easily obtain by mercy of Sri Guru. So, so even Brahma, he cannot estimate the extent of mercy. How this merciful Sri Guru can be to give us Krishna. So then Mahaprabhu told, he sat down and he said, "Come on, sit down, Acharya, you also sit down." So though Advaitacharya, he said, "Okay, now you give up your clever tricks. Okay, today you are going to eat all the food, and then only I'll let you go." So then Mahaprabhu smiled and then he started eating. And Mother Sita, she was serving him all his favorite preparations. And happily Gauranga was eating. And then he told Advaitacharya, "I'm unable to remember when I've eaten so much." So Advaitacharya smiled and said, "Yeah, yeah, your clever tricks are not unknown to me. Okay. You are eating every day in Jagannath temple. Okay, the three potencies constantly are residing on your tongue. And what are the three potencies? The devotees' glories. That means Krishna allows to glorify his devotees. Then saintly instructions. Krishna always gives saintly instructions. And then humble prayers. So these three things are always residing in you. So Mahaprabhu heard this. I said, "Hey, Vishnu, Vishnu," he said, "don't say like this." And he cleaned his hands and mouth, and then he took some betel nut, and then Advaitacharya told him, "Please rest." And when he laid down to rest, the storm disappeared. So this way, all their this was fulfilled. Their desire was fulfilled. So So one day Mahaprabhu was sitting in a solitary place and he told his dear Jagadananda Pandit, who was non-different from Satyabhama. So he said, "Quickly go to Gaudadesh. First go to my birthplace and tell my mother that I am her servant and tell her wherever I go, I'll always be a servant. I'll be unable to do any of my duty as her son. So I have become a great offender. So I cannot repay my debt to her. So you just please tell her to mercifully excuse my offense. Otherwise, I'll be ruined." He said like this, and he told him to leave. Then he said, "You must inform Krishna, particularly Advaitacharya, about my welfare." So Jagadananda Pandit, he offers his obeisances to him and he goes to Navadvip Dham. So there he offers um, his obeisances to Mother Shachi, and then he submits all the statements what Mahaprabhu said to Mother Shachi. Mother Shachi was repeatedly blessing her son. So then he rendered so many services, Jagadananda Pandit. He rendered so many services to Mother Shachi, and he told all the other devotees about Gauranga's well-being. That Gauranga is fine, he's okay, and the devotees was so maddened by hearing this news. So somebody was saying, "Why did you take sannyas, Gauranga? Why, after you gave us the shelter of your lotus feet, you're drowning us in misery like this. So someone was saying, oh, I become most fortunate out of his causeless mercy. Gauranga has remembered me. He sent somebody to tell me how he is and all that. So everybody has got different uh, feelings. So then he saw that everybody was lamenting like this for Gauranga, and Jagadananda Pandit was feeling very much distressed. So he left from Mayapur, he went to Shantipur, and there he, out of love, Advaita Prabhu was nice, warmly he embraced him and he gave him a nice seat, and he sat down, and then he inquired about Gauranga. So then he said, nowadays Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always mad in ecstatic love. And he says sometimes in the morose state he calls out the names of Radha. So now it's the final pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So where is the Lord of my life? Like that he shouts, and the sound of his voice melts the hearts of all living entities. So while hearing this, Advaita Prabhu became mad with love, and he started calling out, "Oh Lord, oh Gauranga!" All that. That was all he could say. Then about 3 hours like that, Advaita Prabhu became stunned. He just was stunned. And then that, after another few more hours, he was just roaring out, Gauranga, Gauranga, like that. He was, one moment he was laughing loudly, next moment he was crying. And only words he was speaking were only two words: manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. He was talking like. So in this way, Advaita Charya was manifesting so many moods, various moods. So uh, Ishan Thakur is saying, I'm just repeating like a parrot. I don't know what was actually going on. So Jagadananda Prabhu then passed the night there. Then on the morning, he asked Advaita Charya consent that I will now leave. So then he uh, Advaita Charya gave him uh, a message. Please give this message. So I've written the message here. It's a cryptic poem. So please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. And inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand, and those now mad and ecstatic love are no longer interested in this material world. She tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Advaita Prabhu also has become a madman in ecstatic love and has spoken these words. So, hearing this poem, Jagadananda slightly smiled and he took leave and he left. And he came back and he saw Gauranga, and then he offered his obeisances. Tears were flowing from his eyes, and Gauranga lifted him and embraced him. And then gradually Jagadananda told him the welfare of everybody, Sachi Mata's lamentation, and he said, I cannot say much about Vishnu Priya because she has such unflinching devotion. What she does, she only whole day she is rendering services to Sachimata. And every morning she'll bring Sachimata to Ganga for a bath. Other than that, she never leaves the house. She never sees the sun, never sees the moon. So the devotees that go there for prasadam can see her feet only, not her face. And no one can hear her voice also. Her, her face is totally pale with tears are flowing from her eyes. She eats only what is left in Mother Shachi's plate, the remnants. That's all. That's how she maintains her health. And she only maintains her health to continue her service to Mother Shachi. And if she finds some time after finishing Mother Shachi's service, then she will sit alone and she will continuously chant the holy names. She has strong taste for chanting. So, like this, and she has deep attachment for your lotus feet. Only by her mercy, I was able to meet her. Jagadananda Pandit says that. And she says she had a painting made of you, and she worships that with devotion, and she chants the holy names. And she uh, constantly worships you in a secluded place, and she's dedicated her life to your lotus feet. Even Anantadev cannot describe her transcendental qualities. How much can I tell you? So Mahaprabhu says, okay, don't speak further about this. Tell me good news from Shantipur. what happened when Advaita Acharya. And then Jagadananda Pandit gives him that poem. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiles and said, I will honor his direction. Honor his direction means what? The meaning of this poem is time has come for the Lord to wind up his pastimes. So Lord Advaitacharya called him, and Lord Advaitacharya only is telling him to wind up his pastimes. So Sarup Damodar and all the others were asking, what is the meaning of this? We are not able to understand what is the meaning of this poem. So Lord Gauranga said, Advaitacharya is a person who performed uncommon feat of bringing Krishna to this world. He didn't say bringing me, but he said he brought Krishna to this world. Now, the Lord is Krishna is bound by his rope of love, and now by his desire, Krishna again is going to disappear. Who can understand the meaning of this poem? He said like that. So, so that is the meaning of this poem, that he is asking the Lord to wind up his pastimes. Everything is over, your pastimes. Whatever you had to do, you have completed. So then, after that, there was a marked change in Lord Chaitanya's emotional state. He constantly was manifesting ecstasy in transcendental madness in Radharani's bhava, and always saying, "Oh Lord, oh my Krishna, where are you?" And he was uh, constantly in great ecstasy, and he was not aware this day or this night. And the devotees, they were so frightened by his condition. What has happened to our Gauranga? Then one day, as Gauranga was entering the temple to see Lord Jagannath, he said, "Oh my Lord!" And like that, he just entered the temple, and the doors closed on its own. So never had Gauranga gone within the temple. So the doors just closed, and the devotees, they were thinking, what happened? In a short time, the doors open on its own, and the devotees guessed that Lord Gauranga had disappeared. So here in Shantipur, Advaitacharya, he was in an ecstatic trance. He could perceive that Lord Chaitanya has departed from this world, and he lost his external consciousness, and he was just calling out Nimai, 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 and he lost his consciousness. And then he became a little bit like bewildered, like that. One moment he said, "Come on, Nimai, bring your book," because he was teaching him Vedas. "I have a lot of work to do. Let me quickly give you your lesson." Next moment he will say, "I know your tricks. Tell me, by whose sentiments are you golden?" Then another moment he said, "Nimai, you stay in my house. Mother Shachi will be distressed if you go to another part of the country." And the next moment he will say, "Oh, Gauranga, you're the director of Providence. You're the inaugurator of Sankirtan movement." And he said, "You have hidden the treasures of Raja in Raja itself. So how I cannot find it? What is this trick of yours?" So like this, like incoherently he was talking, and for a long time. Then after that, he eventually came back to his external consciousness, and then he was roaring, "Hari, Hari," like that. And then from that day onwards, Advaita Prabhu constantly meditated on the form of Gauranga. And Mahaprabhu one day came to the dream of Advaita Acharya and he said, "Oh Nara, don't feel so distressed in my separation. Being attracted by your love, I came to your house as as you know, I have come to your house again. You know who? I'm going to be the son of your son. That means your grandson. I'm going to be the son of Krishna Mishra. That is Krishna Das. And after some days, Lord Nityananda also will come, and he'll also be another son of Krishna Mishra. So I always will perform pastimes in your heart of your dearest son Krishna Das." And like that he said, and Lord Gauranga told him that the eternal devotee of mine, that is Krishna Das. So I will again come and again fulfill all your desires, because everybody was so lamenting. So he told like that. So Advaita Prabhu was so amazed. Wow, such a wonderful dream. And that very day when he got that dream, Krishna Mishra became the father of a son, and that son was exactly like Lord Gauranga. And Advaita Prabhu, he became absorbed in loving affection seeing that child's form. And this child was named Raghunath. And when the child heard the transcendental qualities of Gauranga, tears would flow from his eyes. And after some time, um, on the Krishna's holy festival, it's called Dole festival in Bengal. It's called as Dole festival, holy. So the second son was born on the holy day, right? That same day as Mahaprabhu was born, isn't it? Falgun. So same day, another son was born, and this son looked exactly like Lord Nityananda. So Advaita Acharya called him Dol Govinda. So this one was Raghunath and one was Dola Govinda. So like this, Nityananda and Gauranga came to the house of Advaita Prabhu as his grandchildren. There's a lot. Whether we should skip a bit. It's already time up, but anyway, let me see what we can do. One day, Advaita Prabhu, he was overwhelmed with Mahabhav. He was calling out to Gauranga, Nimai, where are you, Nimai, where are you, like that. And after some time, he came back to his external consciousness and he called for all his sons. He told them, Dear sons, please hear my distress. Okay, my wicked relatives, they are blaspheming Gauranga. And my heart, I cannot tolerate it. And for I want to atone this. So I'm going to leave my body. So inform all the devotees of Gauranga and call them here. So suddenly he became like stunned like that. And after that, Achyutananda, he quickly sent news. Everybody started pouring in. All came. Veerachandra, son of Nityananda Prabhu, came to Shantipur with his devotees. Gauridas Pandit came from Ambika Kalna. All the devotees came from Navadvip. Narahari Sarkar Thakur came with his associates. Then Kavi Karnapur came. Then Shamadas, who was one of the Digvijay, who became a disciple of Advaita Acharya, he came. Then Vishnu Das came. Then Sri Adunandan Thakur came. Then uh, all his other dear disciples all came. Advaita Acharya, so many disciples, they all came to Shantipur. And they all were offered prayers and obeisances at the feet of Advaita Acharya. So Advaita Acharya said, You are all very dear to me. He said, You please carry on this one instruction. My desire is that you preach Lord Chaitanya's qualities, teachings as far as you can. That is all is my desire. So he gave that instruction to everyone. And this all these non-believers, they are all envious of Gauranga, and you should give up their association. And now all of you must chant the name of Gauranga, and you all must fulfill my desire. So on hearing this, all of them were they went into ecstasy, and they all began to chant the names and qualities of Lord Gauranga. And his three sons, Achyuta, Krishna Mishra, and Gopal Thakur, and then Veerachandra Prabhu, that is Nityananda Prabhu's son, then Narahari, they all became very ecstatic. And Gauridas Pandit, Damodar Pandit, and all of them, they all started dancing and uh, chanting the glories and doing kirtan. And Advaita Prabhu was overwhelmed with love because they were chanting the glories of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So he also joined the Sankirtan party and began to dance. So gradually, the waves of the Sankirtan ocean, they began to expand, and Advaita Acharya became immersed in that ocean, and his whole body was decorated with ecstatic symptoms, Ashtasattvic Vikar, and he was shedding tears. Where is Gauranga? Where is my life and soul? So no living entity can display such a wonderful mood. of course, and it was exhibited by Advaita Prabhu, and all the devotees were surrounding the Lord, all were crying in ecstasy. And Advaita Prabhu then suddenly shouted, "I found Gauranga! I found Gauranga!" All his hair was standing on end. His body was like kadamba flower. All the hair was standing like that. And all of a sudden, he entered the temple of Madan Gopal and he disappeared from the vision of mundane people. All the devotees they rushed here and there looking for him, but unable to see him. They all were crying, rolling in the dust. They understood Advaita Acharya had disappeared. Advaita Acharya was crying out loudly and said to Gauranga's devotees, sorry, Achyutananda, he was crying and he was saying to Gauranga's devotees that there was one branch of the tree, desire tree of Gauranga, the ecstatic love, remaining after his disappearance. And after his disappearance of Gauranga, there was one branch of the tree, but now that also has ended. Today, however, uh, Gauranga's pastimes have come to an end. So he was said like that. Hearing this, all the devotees were crying, "Oh Gauranga, oh Nityananda, oh Bhaktavatar, Advaita Chandra." Other than these three names, no, nothing else came from everyone's mouth. And in that lamentation, even the stones were melting. Everybody was lamenting. Day and night passed without anyone being aware of the external world. The next day, everyone took bath in the Ganga. Then Achyuta Prabhu held a great festival. Everyone took Mahaprasad, then returned to their homes. So Ishan Thakur is saying, praying at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Sri Advaita, always desiring their mercy, I Ishan Nagara narrate Sri Advaita Prakash. Mahaprabhu Shachisuta Sri Gaura Govinda Tandraskanda Sri Advaita Prabhu Nityananda Eitina Eka Atma Mora Pranadhan Eitinera Pada Sada Rahu Mora Mon. Mahaprabhu, the son of Shachis, Gaura, and Govinda. His branches are Sri Advaita and Nityananda Prabhu. These three are one and the wealth of my life and soul. Let my mind always remain at the feet of these three. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Charanebhyo Namaha. This concludes our presentation of Advaita Prakash. Advaita Acharya ki jai. Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Joy,
Nityananda Prabhu ki jai.
joy,
Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada,
Jai Mother.
joy.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna
So
Mataji.
ecstatic, Mataji. So ecstatic. So wonderful.
Thank you, all devotees.
Wonderful class, Mataji. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna
All
Mataji,
your
Dandavat
blessings.
Pranam.
Dandat Pranam Mataji, Dipti Mataji. Thank you
So
very much.
nice, so interesting. I was very much interested to know about six gurus, and it is a lot to add. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Nityasaki Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna,
for
Jai
wonderful class,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harsha Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very nice class.
Thank you, Harsha Mataji.
Hare
All
Krishna
glories to
Mother.
Srila Prabhupada. I am nobody. I have just repeated whatever I read. So,
Mataji, two sloka for Advaita Acharya's glorification. May
please,
I?
Mataji. Please, please.
महाविष्णु जगत्कर्ता मायया सृज तस्यावतार एवं अद्वैताचार्य ईश्वरः अद्वैतं हरिणाद्वैताचार्य भक्ति संसनात् भक्तावतारमीशं तम् अद्वैत आचार्यम् आश्रये किला अद्वैत आचार्य की जय हो
Jai. Thank you,
पंचतत्व
Mataji.
की जय हो
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Mother.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Radha Govind Prabhu. Radha Vinod Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, Mother, I have one question on you mentioned that Advaita Acharya he merged with Madan Gopal. Is that is my understanding?
Ah, yes, Prabhu.
And that the deity is there in the same place,
In
Shantipur?
Shantipur, yes. Yesterday I showed the photo. No?
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I can
Okay,
share.
yeah, I remember those one blue and
Yes, yes,
all
yes,
that
yes.
things too. Yeah, I
Yes,
remember that.
yes, yes.
I just one more just to add into that. After Advaita Acharya, his disappearance, Sita Devi, she continues, right, for some time.
Yeah, that was not mentioned in this book. Of course, she would be continuing maybe
She
for some time.
continued, and may Sarat Prabhuji also is there. Maybe I think the whole branches took so bad turn, right? You see Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many divisions and all that, right? So this Sita Devi, she also
That is
initiates religion.
Janava Mata. Janava
Oh,
Mata.
Janiva Mata. Sorry, I'm confusing.
She's
Okay.
Janmama.
Prabhu, you
Okay.
see, this is the deity, Prabhu. You see.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Nice. I remember. Hmm. And so understanding again, as in ISKCON, we believe Lord Chaitanya, he merged or into the Lord Jagannath.
Jagannath deity. Yeah.
But so the same way, I think we see that
Nityananda Prabhu
other.
also in in Bankaraya deity in Ekachakra Dham. There is Bankaraya deity.
Okay.
Nityananda Prabhu merged into that deity.
How about
Okay.
Tota Gopinath? I heard that in Tota Gopinath
Yeah,
also.
some say Tota Gopinath, some say Jagannath, uh, and some
Yes,
say he went into the sea also. This, so I'm not. Everybody has the different. Maybe the kalpa bhed is there also. Different kalpas, maybe different ways he disappears. Lord Chaitanya's got three ways in which he disappears. Some say he went into Jagannath, some say he went into Tota Gopinath, and some say he went into the sea and disappeared in the sea. So maybe the Kalpabhed is there, and in this way, he did all the three also, different Kalpas. That's how we can understand. I think, I'm not sure. Sharad Prabhu can say something.
no, you are very correct. The Tota Gopinath is more probable. Uh, these are what are given in various shastras. We do not know what actually happened.
Yes. Because here in this Advaita Prakash, Ishan Thakur is saying he disappeared in the Lord Jagannath's deity. So we don't know. I am just following the book, Prabhu. I have no qualifications to say what happened actually.
Yeah. So Mother and Prabhuji, also Sharad Prabhuji is there. So what we see here, because I didn't have a lot of information prior to that, about all this. This. So we see that Lord Chaitanya also studied, basically again astrology. We see Advaita Acharya also going to studying astrology and Nyaya and all those things. Uh, to me, maybe I'm hearing that first time. Maybe I didn't know. It sounds little bit of weird, right? So studying Sanskrit is okay, but going to Nyaya, going to studying again astrology, which is far away from bhakti, right? So Prabhuji, how
No,
to
Prabhu.
understand this?
Those days, Brahmanas, that was common for all the Brahmanas to do that, and unless you do that, you will not be considered as a very a learned scholar. So they had to do those pastimes to gain that, because we here also we see in this material world, if we want to attract even people to devotion, we have to show them something, some acquire we have acquired some particular knowledge, or we are, if you say you don't know anything, you have not gone through the process, but you know everything, but you have not gone through the process, and people are not attracted. So all these things, even Lord Chaitanya took sannyas for that reason only, so that he could attract even the common people to devotion. They will respect him because he was Lord Krishna.
Yeah, Mother, the Vedas, Sanskrit, understandable, they're taking towards the same thing, but understanding astrology, even I think last time we say Bhakti Siddhanta, right?
Yes,
Also,
it's
he
all a
studied
part of.
astrology. So,
It's
yeah.
all a part. It's all a part of that. It's part of the studies. Just
So
like when we say,
it's a not in a line. Astrology is not in a line. That way. Also, it's in Bhagavatam. Shukdev Parikshit Maharaj.
no,
We
that
see
is
a
pure
little bit.
devotional service. We are not talking about that. The pure devotional service is that, but like when we say now, let us say in the current yuga, like we are talking about, you became a MSc or a PhD or something we are following. Why Charu Prabhu is also doing PhD? Why he is doing PhD? It's because he wants to uh, dedicate it to Srila Prabhupada to bring more devotees into devotional service. So that is his mood of attraction. But he is doing PhD. People may think that, oh, why is he doing PhD? He is a pure devotee. Why he has to do PhD? So, I understand. So, like that, Lord Chaitanya and Advaita Acharya, they are the lords in themselves. Why they need to study? Why they need to go to all these things? But they are doing this to attract common people. So even common people will be in amazed, and they will be attracted to doing devotional service. So finally, instruction is devotional service only. Final instruction is not astrology. Instruction is only devotional service, but they want to attract. What do you say, Sharad Prabhu?
Yes, yes, you are very correct. Those six angas, the Vedangas, they were taught in the earlier times. Now even now they are taught, but they are so complicated that the normal people cannot understand. That's why people don't go into that. But that was the normal way of learning. Everybody used to learn. That's why they had to go through that process. You have answered very nicely. Thank you, Mataji.
I hope Radha Vinod Prabhu is satisfied.
To understand. That's right, mother. I don't know. I remember the six shastras were basically in Satyuga. That is where those were there. After that, we don't see much of them, right? As you proceeded with end of Treta Yuga, that all the 18 Puranas and Srimad Bhagavatam came, and that's what we understand from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So my thinking was that people still
Puranas,
try to
yeah, for
understand.
common people, yeah. But for Brahmanas, like for example, there are four Varnas. So until 500 years ago, the or four Varnas were properly, yeah. So when the Brahmanas, they were supposed to know all these things, Vedangas and all, just like we are supposed to know what is science, what is these things, maths and geography and history. We are supposed to know this. It is common, like uh, I don't know what is history. I don't know what is geography. I don't know. Like this, we cannot say because this is. I'm talking about the present situation. Like that, in those days, what is Vedangas? What is this? They're supposed to know that. Like that. It
May
is.
I?
Thank you, mother. Thank you.
Lalita Mataji, you want to say something?
Yes, may I? Thank you, Mataji, for a wonderful class. And I just uh, feel very inspired with your enthusiasm and excitement when you actually go into the details. You're enjoying actually, reiterating what you read and in a very nice way. And I feel like even if I get one pinch of it, I think I would be able to do
Correct.
my class. I hope I'm able to. I'm very nervous looking at how you are all experts doing this.
No,
Um,
Mataji, please. You are so elevated. You are so already. You are so much greater than all of us here. So
Thank
I
you,
think
Mataji. And to Radha Vinod Prabhuji's question,
yes,
see for those Brahmanas, even Srila Bhakti Vinod, as I was reading through Bhakti Vinod Thakur and I was
yes,
preparing for it, he also learned astrology from
yes,
one of his acquaintances and uncles. So I think it is looked like this. Like if you're from a Brahmin family or Kanya Kubja Kayastha family, like these are kind of fundamentals, like how we go to kindergarten school for
correct.
Brahmin families. It's a fundamental concept, and just like Ayurveda, it was part of Vedas, like Charaka Samhita, Ayurveda. It was part of. It's like a medical science that was part
Yes,
of that. Astrology is also part of one particular anga in that, like a small place it holds. And it's like astrophysics because knowing the planetary positions, knowing the calculating the lagna and the rashis, and these things are like also mathematical. And I think these are all part of fundamental studies for those days, Brahmanas. And these days, Brahmanas
yes,
are not doing it; somebody else is doing it. So so Bhakti Vinod Thakur also had studied astrology. So I think the
yes,
lineage, the whole, that at that time everybody was doing that as a structure. So that is my
Ye-
understanding. I may be wrong,
Yes,
but
yes, you're very correct. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was an expert in Siddhanta Darpana.
Yes.
And he had written a book also on that. That he was very, very famous. And I think, if I remember correctly, he was awarded, he was given a title for that also. So it
Yes.
was very common those
Also,
days.
Surya Siddhanta, he translated the Surya Siddhanta, and for that he was given the titles Siddhanta Saraswati.
In
Yes,
fact,
yes.
when I was reading through Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's biography, I came to know that he also read Quran. He also read a lot of
Yes,
Christian
yes,
scriptures, lot of
yes,
Bible, and he used to have debate sessions because he had good understanding of all the subject matter. And then when he came across the Vaishnava scriptures, he wanted to learn more. So I won't divulge everything here. So the class
correct.
keep it as
Something,
suspense. When I go through the class, I'll bring it one after another.
yes, very nice.
Yeah, I would say, Mataji, those were the major courses that time to earn the credits.
Major courses, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so Prabhu, Sharad Prabhu would like to conclude.
Thank you, Mataji. Regarding that point, why Advaita Acharya he was preaching impersonalism, I'll give it in my class because that is also discussed in that.
Okay,
But he actually what Lalit Priya Mataji said, that is very correct. He actually wanted to obtain the same mercy as Mukunda Datta. Who
okay,
was Mukunda Datta and all that as given in Chaitanya Bhagavata, that I'll be explaining. That we have to understand. But we should understand that just to obtain the unconditional mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just behaved like that. He didn't
yes.
mean that. That is the thing. Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you,
Okay.
Samta Mataji. Thank you.
So just 1 second on that, the last poem we saw that the rice is no more in demand in the market, right? That word was
Okay,
the.
okay.
uh,
Okay, Prabhuji, I'll be explaining that in my class.
okay.
I'll give it in detail. It is connected with that. It is given in the Prema Vilasa also.
Couldn't hear the last part. Was there a question?
No, no, there is no question.
Okay, because the last part somehow I couldn't hear what Radha Vinod Prabhu said.
No, no, that was not a question.
Okay.
He was asking about that poem, the cryptic poem. That was a one-line statement which said that the rice is not much in demand in the market.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So it is there in the slides. I will share it in the group. So, so shall we conclude, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Anybody wants to do the Narsimha prayers? Please.
I can do if I may.
Yes, Lalita Mataji, please.
Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadavine Praladadavine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Hiranyakashiपूर्वक्षः शीलतङ्कानकालये शीलतङ्कानकालये इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो वही नृसिंहो हृदये नृसिंहो नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपदे नरसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नकामद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव करकमलवरे नकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रीला प्रभुपदा भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंह भगवान की जय
जय
की जय श्री
जय
प्रहलाद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत
जय
गोविंद की जय
जय. So thank you everyone. I think we shall close the session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother.
Hare
So
Krishna
wonderful.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Very nice.
Thank you.